Hey there guys, what's going on? Today we've got another video in our best class setups in Modern Warfare series. Season 2 keeps bringing us new weapons to play with and I just love it so much. And today we are covering a weapon that I've wanted to see buffs for such a long time. The weapon we are of course talking about today is the Uzi, which after these buffs is actually overpowered now. This thing absolutely shreds and I just love it so much that one of my favorite weapons is getting actually some love, which is just wild. Funnily enough, these buffs were actually added in secret with the previous update, while finally being added to the patch notes in the most recent update, which is pretty ridiculous. Like, look, it's probably still not as good as the MP5 if we're talking about the best SMG in the game, but I think this thing is actually very, very powerful now. It's probably the second or third best SMG in the game now, which is pretty impressive for definitely the worst SMG before this. So I've got you covered for the best class setup for the Uzi, which like I said is a really powerful weapon in this game after these buffs. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite weapons in the game. I just love an Uzi, man. It just feels so good to use this thing now after it actually is receiving some love. I love seeing weapon balancing in this game. Always getting new stuff to play with is also very, very cool. But just before we do talk about our class setup here, let's try and get this video to 10 likes for these Uzi buffs, man. It has been a long time coming. The support for the videos has been absolutely massive recently, so big thumbs up to you guys for supporting me and my videos. I really do appreciate it an awful lot, so make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already with those notifications turned on so you don't miss any more of my videos. If everyone who is subscribed got a single friend to subscribe, we'd be ridiculously close to 1,000 subs, which is that'd be wild, right? So let's talk about the best class setup for the Uzi with these buffs. Okay, so the buffs to the Uzi are as follows. They have reduced the sprint out time, bringing it in line with the other SMGs in the same class, and they've also added 2 new attachments, which is actually pretty crazy for this. Like, we do have a new barrel, which gives us damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control, and we've also got a new ammo conversion, which gives us a boost to our damage and range. With these changes, the Uzi feels unbelievable now. It is basically a whole new weapon. It just does such great damage, and it absolutely shreds people at pretty much all ranges. To unlock these attachments, you do have to complete a couple of challenges, and when I unlock them, these might be different now, but when I unlocked them, they were as follows. For the .41 AE 32 round mags, you have to equip the 50 round mags and get 3 hip fire kills in 5 different games. This of course might be different now, like I said, because I did it once the challenge was added, and then it might be different now. And for the new barrel, you have to equip any barrel, the new magazines, the wooden stock, and you have to get 2 long shots in 5 different games. At least, like I said, that's what it was when I did the test, because it did get secretly added in the last patch, so the challenges might be a little bit different now, but yeah, that's the best that I can do with those basically, because I've already unlocked them, so I can't see what the challenges are. Like I said, I'm calling it. This gun is overpowered now, and I love it. It's like definitely a top 10 weapon in the game at the moment. This is definitely the way to make it as effective as it can be. We have maxed out the Uzi here. This is the best class setup for it here, so let's talk about it because this is really, really exciting for me. Right, so we're going to start with our sidearm perks and grenade choices here. We'll go over them quite quickly like we always do because they are pretty much the same for all of my classes. Our sidearm of choice is the 357 Snake Shot Revolver, and we have of course set it up like this. You're getting a little bonus mini class setup with this one. We've got the 357 Long Barrel, the 5mm laser, the lightweight trigger, the Snake Shot, and of course the stippled grip tape. Perk 1 is actually one of those options where you've got 3 different choices that you can make here depending on how you play and what other people are doing in the game. So you can of course choose EOD for that explosive resistance. Kill Chain is another really good option if you're getting those powerful streaks into other powerful streaks. And Quick Fix is one that I've been actually using a little bit more recently because you start that healing as soon as you get a kill. So if you get into a fight, you get that kill, like they shoot you twice though, and that healing will immediately start after you kill them. It's actually really, really powerful, and it works a little bit faster than a stim shot. Perk 2 is Recon. It's really great to get a new lethal and tactical every 25 seconds, which is just... that's awesome. That's so good. I love it so much. And perk 3 is Shrapnel, which is really powerful for getting a second Claymore or Betty or C4. You know, just those second pieces of lethal equipment to just sort of chuck at somebody or defend the area that you're holding. In the lethal slot, we do have the Proximity Mine, but this changes as well. I do like the C4. Claymore's good. These are all pretty great options for the most part, and it sort of depends on how you want to play. But with Shrapnel, we do of course get 2 of them, which is really powerful. And of course, in the tactical slot, we do get Stim Shot because it is very, very powerful. Right, so starting off with our attachments here, in the muzzle slot, we do have, of course, the casual 2 options that we usually go with, the monolithic suppressor and the compensator. Damage range and sound suppression or recoil control are your options here. I feel like these 2 attachments are the best 2 options for most weapons in this slot. Like, it's usually pretty hard to go past extended range or recoil control. We do of course lose a little bit of aim down, sight speed and stability, and aim walking steadiness, but what we lose there we can make up for with other attachments, so that's not really too much to worry about there. For the most part, you're going to be getting like 3 to 4 to 5 shot kills with this, so extending that damage range out a little bit further is really powerful. But also having that extra recoil control is really strong with this too, because it does kick a little bit. I feel like both of these attachments are really good and viable options, so it's mostly personal preference as to what you choose here. If you enjoy the extra damage range that you do get out of the monolithic suppressor, you take that one. If you do prefer to be a little bit more accurate, you'll want the compensator. So in the muzzle slot, I've chosen the compensator because I do really enjoy the recoil control of this thing. Our next attachment slot, we've got the brand new barrel. We've got the FSS Carbine Pro. This is one of those barrel options for the Uzi with that damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control, like I said at the start of the video. This is always the perfect option for pretty much every weapon in this game. Like, everything would basically like to shoot a little further, a little faster, and be a little bit more accurate, and it's hard to go past any of those stats for the Uzi. There's actually 2 options that do say FSS Carbine Pro barrel, which is just kind of dumb. Like, that's pretty schoolboy error there. They are different, of course. This is the previous option. That's the same sort of stats, but this is the new one, so they'll change this eventually. That's really dumb, but yeah, the bottom one is the one you're after, and that's the one you do have to unlock. But yeah, this new option is more effective at damage range and control rather than the other option, which sort of focuses on mobility a little bit more. This, in combination with the new ammo conversion, makes the Uzi really powerful, and it gives it excellent damage at range. 3-shot kills with this thing are nothing to turn your nose up at. It's really strong. Now, I'm telling you, this is really powerful. I don't think it's like MP5 strong. It's probably not there yet, but it is still way up there as far as top 3 SMGs in the game go. In my opinion, this is the best barrel option that we can work with, and it makes this weapon really accurate, damaging, and has increased velocity. I wouldn't recommend taking any of the other barrel options here. You do need the benefits of the FSS Carbine Pro to make the Uzi really powerful. So of course, in our barrel slot, like I said, we've got the FSS Carbine Pro barrel, which is the bottom one. We have skipped over the laser slot. There is always an argument to be made for me to use the tac laser. I believe it's a really powerful option in this game with most SMGs and ARs in this game, but here we've not got enough slots. I feel like we're making full use of our other attachments, and I'd love to use it, but I don't think we've got a slot here, so that extra aim down sight speed, we can't get it here, unfortunately. The same goes in the optic slot here. I kind of like the iron sights on this gun. They're pretty fine. Like, of course, I'd love to use a GI Mini Reflex in this slot, but we don't have space, so we move on. Our next attachment slot is another choose your own adventure slot. In the stock slot, both of the no stock and the FSS close quarter stock are really great options. With this, we do get movement speed and aim down sight speed versus just aim down sight speed. The reason this is a choice is because of the lack of recoil control that you do get with the no stock. You'll have to make a decision that suits your playstyle with this. If you're more aggressive and you like getting up into people's faces and messing with their spawns, you should definitely take the no stock option. It just makes you more mobile and you're able to get that aim down sight speed up as a result of the lack of control. If you do tend to play a little bit slower, like you just post up a little bit, also known as camping, I'd go with a close quarter stock as well, just so you get that aim down sight speed and you just get increased control as well. I'm a big fan of the no stock option. I love being aggressive in this game, and you can really take people by surprise by sprinting around and getting up in their faces and stuff like that. I feel like this is where Call of Duty just plays best. Like, everyone has the most fun when everyone's just sprinting around everywhere, not really just sort of waiting and camping, actually getting in fights. So yeah, in the stock slot, we do have the no stock option. We have, of course, skipped over the perk slot. Sleight of hand would be the only one, like one of the only usable options in here. Fully loaded is not too bad as well, but I feel like with sleight of hand, it's just one of those things that we don't really need with this, as well as the rear grip slot. I feel like we could always throw a stipple grip tape on here, but again, we don't really have the spare slot, unfortunately. Next, in the ammo slot, you'll want to run the .41 AE 32 round mags. This is the real star of the show for the Uzi now. With this, you do get damage and range. This really does feel like the 10mm ammo conversion, but for the Uzi. This is a complete game changer for this gun in this game, man. Like, with this damage and range boost, the Uzi is really powerful. Like, you usually get 3 to 4 shot kills at pretty much any range. We do lose a little bit of recoil control with this, but it is worth it. Until the most recent update, this actually only had 25 rounds, but the increase to 32 is a pretty big deal. 7 extra bullets is just way better than 25. Like, 25 always felt like it was a little bit short. You'd be reloading pretty often. There isn't really much else to say here, though. This is basically a required attachment for the Uzi now. Without it, the gun isn't really as powerful, but with it, it's a complete monster. This is really the thing that makes it an overpowered class setup. So in the ammo slot, of course, we want the .41 AE 32 round magazines. And lastly, we've got the underbarrel slot here. We've got the Merc foregrip for that recoil control and hip fire accuracy. We do lose a little bit of aim down sight speed and aim walking movement speed, but like I said, we can get that back from other attachments, and most of the time we don't really have to worry about it. The Uzi definitely does have a little bit of kick, but it is pretty manageable for the most part, especially with this attached. The Merc foregrip does make us a lot more reliable at those medium to longer engagements, and you'll be hitting more shots with this. Simple as that. You can also make a case for the Commando foregrip as well, which gives us that recoil stabilization, which is that horizontal recoil control, which is also pretty important. But with this specific class, I do prefer the Merc foregrip. But you can try these out, give it a try, pick whatever you like, whichever you prefer. Both of these are pretty powerful, and I've gotten good results with both. But for this class, I am choosing the Merc foregrip. Right, this is our full class setup here. All of these attachments make the Uzi as powerful as it can be, and that is basically overpowered now, which is just wonderful. I love it when guns go from terrible to being amazing. Overall, this is a top 10 weapon in the game now for sure. This means a lot to me because I've been championing the cause of the Uzi for a while now, so it's good to finally see it get some love. It's definitely out of the dumpster tier now, which is really, really great, and it is moving up into the upper echelons of being overpowered. These new attachments have given new life to an otherwise pretty bad weapon in this game. I'd love to see this happen for other weapons throughout the year, just to give us a little bit more customization. And I definitely feel like we're going to see this more because it's a great way to keep the game fresh as well. It's also a little bit interesting with really bad weapons though. Like if you make specific attachments really, really powerful for a weapon, you don't actually have any other choice but to use them. Like you're stuck with whatever is actually the best choice. So with like these 32 round magazines, they're just better than the stock rounds, so you have to run them pretty much. So, you know, it's sort of a little bit interesting. If you are looking for a weapon that's not at the very tip top of the meta, but is still like very, very powerful in this game, look no further than this Uzi class. It is really fun to use, and it is very, very strong now. Almost overpowered, I'd say. If you did enjoy this, or it did help you out at all, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here. We're getting very close to 500 subscribers, which is just wild, and it does help me out by letting me know that you guys are enjoying the videos. I feel like we can always do better with this number. Like 89% of you guys are unsubscribed, so make sure you do click that button if you don't want to miss any more of my videos. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!